and welcome to Exploring Shinto. I'm your host, Nicholas Kempen. Today we are going to begin the exploration of what Shinto is, and to an extent, its beliefs. It's going to be a bit of a long video today. It's going to be also our first video in this ongoing series where we'll be exploring the history, beliefs, practices, and various sects of Shinto. Join me, won't you? Today we are at Yoyogi Hachiman Shrine. So, what is Shinto? Well, the quickest way of describing it is Shinto is the native belief of Japan that believes in and to an extent worships the various kami of the earth. Now, the question is, so for many of our viewers is going to be, what are kami? Well, for example, when you feel the breeze in the air during a nice stormy night, or when you see the trees in a forest, these are kami. The breath of life is kami. The sun is a kami. Kami is a complicated and rather in-depth thing. It's more than just gods or spirits. Kami is that sense of awe. That feeling you get when you first see something and don't quite know what it is. It's a feeling inside, yet it is also that which you can see, that which you can feel, and that which you can taste. The kami, in essence, surround us. The kami are all around us. And the kami will guide us, and the kami will protect us. But what does that actually mean? And how does Shinto itself really get involved in that? Well, let's explore that question. So Shinto started in the pre-Japan. It started when Japan was a group of hunter-gatherers in the Yayoi period and before. But it wasn't called Shinto. It didn't really have a name. It was very much an animistic religion, or an animistic belief, where everything had a spirit. This aspect of Shinto still continues on today. When you look at works of art, be it a sword or a painting, in essence, those things themselves are embodied with a spirit that has been granted to them, both through the hard work of the craftsmen and also through the will of the kami themselves, the items that were made to create the object. Be it the iron ore that would make the sword, which in itself has its own spirit, the will of the craftsman as he forged it, the fire that burned it and purified it, the water that cooled it. All these things help to imbue within it its own spirit, its own kami. So in essence, kami continues to be enigmatic, something hard to truly and fully describe. Perhaps then, it's best to describe them in multiple ways. There aren't just kami of trees, but there are also heavenly kami and earthly kami. These are two different types of kami that exist within the Shinto faith, and likely come from two different cultures that had merged together in the early history of Japan. When the Jomon period and the Yayoi period really kind of started intermingling, when one was ending and the other was beginning, cultural changes began to take shape, and the Shinto faith slowly began to take shape, going from an animistic religion that was focused more on earthly kami to one that focused a bit more on the heavenly kami and the broader concepts and ideas. As history continued to progress, you began to see introductions of Buddhism, Confucianism, and to an extent Taoism, and each of these religions had an impact on Shinto and on its development. This early Shinto historically is often referred to as Ko-Shinto, or like the original Shinto. Now, if it really existed, as we understand it, is something we can't really know, because Shinto in itself is almost as enigmatic as the kami that are worshipped in it. So when we ask, what is Shinto? Perhaps that's the wrong question. Perhaps our question should be, what isn't Shinto? Maybe that too is the wrong question. Shinto itself is a very complicated topic, a complicated subject, which is why I'm going to be dedicating an entire YouTube series and channel to it. Because it can't be answered in just one video. It can't be answered just by giving you a description or telling you what I think it is. The only way we can truly understand Shinto and gain some semblance of it from a Western audience perspective is to delve deep, is to look at its entire history, not just one little portion of it. We have to look at the whole, not just one leaf of a tree. Because Shinto has deep roots, and Shinto has had many changes throughout its history and will likely continue to have changes into the future. Beyond its history, though, we have to look at its practices and its beliefs. And even that is going to be a tough topic, because different sects have different beliefs. The practices, though, the practices tend to be very similar. They all seem to follow a similar route. So maybe that's where we start. We start with the practices. And maybe we go from there. For centuries, kami and Buddhas were worshipped at the same locations, almost as if it was a syncretic religion, the same religion, no matter the differences that came from the cultures that developed each of these faiths. They were viewed as complementary, and in many ways are still viewed as complementary, if separate in modern times. Before the Meiji Restoration, which happened in the 1800s, Shinto and Buddhism were integrated into one another. You would often have Buddhas at Shinto shrines and kami with miniature shrines located at Buddhist temples. This intermingling of faiths had a dramatic and widespread effect on Shinto itself, going from where there were more of like sacred groves and things like that to shrines and sacred locations. As I've already stated, we are at a shrine today, and down here is the actual shrine. This is the shrine to the Kami Hachiman, who is an enshrined emperor from the legendary period of Japan. The enshrining of people that have passed away, and the enshrining of, be it nature spirits, as they may be referred to in English, and the enshrinement of gods, as we may also refer to them in English, is a common practice within Shinto itself. People, in essence, have kami inside of them, because when we die, we go somewhere, don't we? Does Shinto give us an answer to where we go after death? That'll be something we'll cover in a later video. But for today, this first beginning, I want to thank you all for joining me, and I hope to see you in the future. Until then. So if you liked today's video, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell notification for future notifications, and leave a comment if you would. There's a bike going past me right now, so this shot's going to be entirely ruined. But I'm going to keep it in the final product anyway. So yeah, like, subscribe, share, ring the bell notification, and leave a comment. So let's try and see if we can get this, series on the go.